became compulsive viewing.
That was a game changer because it was a real step up in terms of, if you like, regular prize money.
But after 2 years on air, 121 shows, and the whole country seemingly desperate to take part, the top prize of £1 million was yet to be won.
The reason I applied for Millionaire was because I was feeling rather skint. I didn't have enough money at that time. And I watched this programme and I thought it was extremely good. And I thought the questions were quite easy. And the sums of money you could win were huge.
The Who Wants to Be a Millionaire prize money millions were funded by a premium rate phone line. Out was the stamped addressed envelope. In was a phone frenzy.
But if you want to win, you've got to ring 0891 444444.
Anybody could get on, and that's why these huge audiences are going, get me the phone, I could ring, I could be there tomorrow night. I mean, that's how it was for the first 4 or 5 years, it was like that.
I think I rang up about 250 times before they rang back. And BT rang me up in the middle of all of this to say, do you know your telephone's being used rather a lot? I just went on ringing till they rang back, because I thought rather naively that if I did £1,000 worth of telephone calls, I'd get it back. Well, being on the show, I found absolutely terrifying. The minute I knew I was on it, my heart started thumping.
How do you think you've done?
I have no idea.
You just won £64,000.
You're in the chair, the lighting is on you, the audience is blacked out, and so you're very isolated in this bubble.
If you give me a wrong answer, you still get 32,000. You lose £468,000.
I had an insane thought at that point, which was, if I'm wrong, at least it'll be a heroic loser. I'll be a heroic loser.
Which king was married to Eleanor of Aquitaine?
I think it's Henry II. And I could hear, at that point, I could hear the audience. They did a sort of, like that, the whole lot of them. I saw her tomb, funnily enough, in France this summer. I'd been in France and I'd driven back through France, literally 2 months before the programme, and stayed at this place called Fontevraud, where there was a big abbey. In the church were these 4 tombs, and one of them was Eleanor, and one of them was her husband, Henry. So it was quite sort of spooky, that, actually. I think it's worth going for.
I always wondered, with myself, if we get someone to £1 million, will I feel brave enough to go, we'll take a break? Because I thought, I can't do that. It's wonderful drama, but I can't do it.
Find out what the right answer is in a couple of minutes.
And then he came back, and then he sat down, and you know how Chris is, the way he looked. And I noticed his voice was very husky. And that, I thought, maybe I've done it.
Welcome back to the third part of tonight's Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Just before the break, Judith Keppel was asked this question.
I've always thought that Judith read too much into that. I've always thought. It's very much a Judith with hindsight, I don't know. I was pretty damned excited because I was about to give somebody £1 million.
You've just won £1 million!
Within hours of Judith actually becoming a millionaire, the press were in hot pursuit of her story, and the papers discovered a distant royal connection. Very distant.
One of the headlines was Millionaire. So ridiculous.
It was something like 300 or 400 years ago. There was a very vague tie-up, you know. But if you go back far enough, I'm probably related to Hereward the Wink.
I was going to think we'd never ever show this. Have a look at this. Pay Judith Keppel £1 million. Look at that.
Well, it did change my life, actually. I mean, it really did change my life. In the nicest possible way. It gave me security.
Probably the second most famous contestant to appear on Millionaire was Major Charles Ingram. With accomplices embedded in the audience, he attempted to cheat using a system of coded coughs.
It's such a surreal story, the whole thing, and the way they tried to win money and actually nearly did, I mean, they nearly got away with it, was so naff. And the coughing thing is so silly. But, I mean, we should have been more alert, because we're talking about £1 million.
I think it's a hat. I mean, again, you know, I'm not sure, but I think it's a hat. I think it's one of those really sort of tall hats that sort of came into fashion, presumably when he was Prime Minister. Pretty confident it's Aristotle Onassis.
The show's host, Chris Tarrant, gave evidence in court against contestant Major Ingram and his two expectorating sidekicks. Excuse me.
All three were found guilty, but they didn't go to prison. They were lucky not to.
An audience member coughing on this show would just be annoying.
We finished that round. Let me know when you're happy, everyone. Yep, so off you go then.
Our next super contestant made a name for himself here in 2004.
And your name is?
Sean Wallace.
Your occupation?
Barrister.